Hello and welcome to the Hellraiser blog. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's blog, please hit the subscribe button. Our channel is dependent on your subscriptions. That's not entirely true, but welcome to the Hellraiser blog. Today's Hellraiser blog, we're going to look at a big fight that's coming up. It's on July the 13th, unfortunately, because that's the same date as I have my own show at York Hall. I have Philip Bowes defending his Commonwealth title, and so we're going to clash with the big Daniel Dubois versus Nathan Gorman fight. It's a fight which, if I didn't have my own show that day, I would definitely want to go and watch it. I think it's a fight that actually may well end up reaching outside of just the hardcore boxing public. You're going to get a lot of especially with Frank Warren's BT Sport deal, that's going to attract a lot of attention and a lot of viewers. And I think it's a fight that's going to really grip a lot of people because it's a very intriguing fight. Two undefeated heavyweights fighting each other for the British title. Fantastic stuff. I think it's ironic that the fight comes so close after we've just seen Andy Ruiz Jr. knock out or stop Anthony Joshua, because Nathan Gorman has always struck me as a guy who can fight, who's actually quite quick for a big guy, but he's certainly not a body beautiful. He always he's always looked to me so far like he was carrying a few extra surplus pounds, and at times also he struck me almost as if he looks not exactly unmotivated, but as if a sort of guy who wants to do the minimum. Daniel Dubois is the opposite. He's been very spectacular throughout his career. A lot of rumours of him knocking out Anthony Joshua in the gym. He seems to go in there with the intention to nail the opponents to the canvas and take them out. And that, I think, is why he attracted so much attention early on. Came from the England boxing setup. Signed with Martin and Tony Bowers at the Peacock Gym in Canning Town, and then got a promotional contract with Frank Warren, and he, I would say, is probably, even though they're both actually promoted by Frank Warren, Dubois is the guy I think that everyone's excited about. The fight's in London. Dubois is from London. He's the home fighter. Here you're going to see Nathan Gorman from Stoke. I think he'll be the away corner. He'll be the outsider in the betting. Certainly, he's a 2-1. And Dubois, if there's going to be any favours here, I think it's going to go Dubois' way. Now, that could be important because on a previous trip that Nathan Gorman made to London, he boxed. There was a guy called Tommy Dove who did some promotions a couple of years ago, and they boxed for the English title at Crystal Palace Leisure Centre. I was there. I had a boxer on the bill, and Gorman, he won fairly easy. And this to me, this is, I was a little bit underwhelmed by his performance because he clearly had the measure of Dominic Akinlaid. He was doing what he wanted in there, and it was an opportunity for him. If he wanted to make a statement, he could have done it there because he had a big guy in front of him who he could have knocked out, probably could have taken apart, and it felt to me like he made a conscious decision. I don't want to engage with him. I don't want to take any risks that I don't have to. I'm just happy to win. Even if I win 1-0, that's fine. If I nick every round, no problem. If I maybe be nicked, 7 of the 10 rounds, perfect. That's not what you get with Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois wants to absolutely obliterate everything in front of him, and that's why I think people are getting excited. And I think for that reason, imagine Gorman comes again with that attitude of, I'll just nick every round and I'll just push my punches and get through the last, right? He'd stand a very big chance here of it going the other way, because I think the big money earner here would be Dubois. I think the TV will get more excited by Dubois. I think the PR machine gets more excited by Dubois. If it's close, he can get, I would say, ripped off. He could get on the wrong end of a bad decision. So I think there has to be every motivation here for Gorman to go in there, and I'm not saying he needs to stand toe-to-toe with Daniel Dubois, because that for me would be a wrong decision, but he needs to put pressure on from fairly early on, which is very dangerous against a guy who we know can punch as hard as Daniel Dubois can. Let's look at the fighters. So Daniel Dubois 6'5", a reach of 198 centimetres. Nathan Gorman 6'4.5". I never realised he was only half an inch shorter than Dubois. Whenever I've seen them, I've seen them both box several times, I've always thought that Dubois was much taller, but only half an inch apparently. Although Gorman has a reach of 185 centimetres to Dubois' 198 centimetres. So Daniel Dubois will have a sizable reach advantage over Gorman, meaning that Gorman will have to use... but he's got very good head movement and lateral movement. And Gorman strikes me as the better boxer of the two. The sounder technical boxer, the more creative technical boxer. Dubois, so far, has been able to march his guys down and then hit them with big shots. Dubois has certainly never been in with anyone with the movement or the skills or the punch variety and the counter-punching ability that Nathan Gorman has, and that is why this fight for me is really intriguing. I have to take my hat off to both guys for taking this fight, because they're stepping in with each other when there were certainly a lot easier options, like little steps that they could have made, maybe not for the British title, but they would have moved up the ratings. You know, there's a lot of fighters now going governing body routes like WBO and WBA and things like that. And they could have avoided each other for longer. Maybe it would have built the fight bigger. But look, whoever wins this one, I think is right in the mix. Will be right up there, and can expect some massive paydays. I know they both fancy it, because I've heard both of them talking in their camps about, you know, how they think they're going to win this fight, and actually almost picking each other out as someone. I mean, they've sparred 200 to 300 rounds apparently. Now, I mean, look, if I've got a puncher, if I'm managing a guy who's a banger, a big puncher, I don't want the opponent to know anything about him. If I've got a guy who's more of a boxer, it doesn't bother me so much, because the element of surprise is so vital to a puncher. And the fact that they've done 200 or 300 rounds, I know these would have been with like 16 or 18 ounce gloves that they would have sparred, which massively takes a lot of the concussiveness away from the shots, the impact they can have. But the fact they've done 200 or 300 rounds, that I think counts against Dubois here, because harder for him to surprise, because Dubois will feel like he knows him inside out. Okay, Dubois definitely will have got better throughout his pro career, and they won't have sparred since they've been sort of certainly since they knew they were going to fight each other. But Gorman certainly will feel that he probably knows a lot of what Dubois is about. He might think he can handle the power because he's been hit with 16 ounce gloves, and then find out on the night, wow, when it's a 10 ounce glove, that's a big difference. Big difference, because it is a big difference. But there's a strong chance here that the sway could go slightly, I think, to Gorman, because he will have a read on Dubois. He probably has a less chance of being surprised than what most of Dubois' opponents will have, because of the amount of sparring he's done with them. He can read what he's thinking, what he's going to do next. He's a very slick boxer. If Gorman can boss, or at least stand his ground against Dubois earlier, which is a very dangerous thing, because you get hit with one shot and that's it, good night. From that point of view, you could excuse Gorman playing safe early. But my worry would be if he plays too safe, he can give away too many rounds. Then he has to play catch up, and he has to come forward, and probably for Gorman to go forwards against and try and have to sort of land his own big shots. And he's a puncher in his own way, Nathan Gorman, even if he hasn't come across that way so far, because he's always been very conservative in the fights I've seen him have. But look, in the fight they had against common opponent Razvan Kojanu, Dubois dealt with Kojanu a lot more easily than what Gorman did. Although Kojanu looked a lot more motivated against Dubois, he was lighter, he came and made a fight of it, got tagged and got stopped early. Against Gorman, he lasted the distance, and you know, it was a closer fight, but Kojanu was in a lot worse shape, meaning that he probably would have been less ambitious and less likely to come forwards and then get caught with those big shots. A lot easier to catch someone when they are coming at you. Right, anyway, the fight is for the British title. It's on the 13th of July. It's at the O2 Arena. And I, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go for Nathan Gorman. I'm going to say Nathan Gorman stoppage in 6. I've got to say, I don't say it with a great deal of conviction, but I've thought about it hard, and that's what I'm going to go with. I think that Gorman's going to cause a little upset here, and I wish them all the best of both teams, and I think it's going to be a great fight. Thank you for watching, guys. Please hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the blog, and I'll catch you very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.